Hollinshed with the handoff to Kalodo off the wing, and a pretty jumper by the junior. And we talked about her in the opening. You could see why. Kalodo using the screen, lays it up and good.
I mean, the adjustment without Kennedy Leonard is huge.
Back in the Buffalo Stampede, voice of the bus, Mark Johnson, JR Payne from the CU women's team. It was a tough weekend for the Buffaloes going to Salt Lake City. We talked to Tad about the loss to the Utes on Friday night. JR Payne, the Buffs fell to Utah as well. How did you kind of come out of that ballgame thinking?
Well, there were a couple things that really kind of doomed us. You know, like when we played Utah here in Coors Event Center, they shot the lights out from three. Yeah. You know, they just shot the heck out of it, much higher percentage than they normally do, and so that really hurt us defensively. Offensively, we only had 13 turnovers, but those turnovers led to points. You know, and so we were turning the ball over, they were scoring, we were giving up threes. You know, you take away those two things. If we had limited some turnovers, limited some of the three-point shooting, it was a very competitive ball game.
You know, I think a lot of times that's something that fans don't think about when they think about basketball turnovers. There are turnovers and there are bad turnovers that are runouts going the other direction, right?
Yeah, and we call them pick sixes. You know, just like football, if you turn the ball over and they score on that, that's a bad turnover.
Right.
We'd rather have them drop kick it into the stands, and at least we have a chance to go back and play defense.
That's right. Although we don't recommend doing that. Of
no,
course.
No, but we have said that before.
My question: you missed Kennedy Leonard again for the fourth game in a row, and you know that's a huge hole, of course, in the middle of your team. But there's some evolution and growing that I would think that comes from that.
Yeah, you know, any team in America would want to have Kennedy on the floor for them, and we're no different than that. But we are really trying to find the positives in that. Our young point guards are getting a lot of minutes that they hadn't received, you know, earlier in the season, and so we're really trying to grow their experience. And when Kennedy comes back, we'll be that much better for it.
Yeah, you know, I think there's some similarities between what's going on with Tad's team, what's going on with your team. Point guards, they're missing McKinley.
Yeah,
it's got to drive. Knowing Kennedy, it's got to drive her crazy not to be.
Yeah, in fact, I don't know if you saw my tweet to her yesterday. I just know that every day is breaking her heart because there's nowhere else she'd rather be than on the court. Yeah. You know, so she'll be back soon, and you know, she just needs encouragement from everybody and has to stay positive.
Yeah, this is where you've got to be not John Wooden, but Dr. Phil with her a little bit, right?
Yeah, poor thing. You know, I know she just wants to be on the floor helping her teammates, and she'll be back soon, and we'll be better for it.
Well, we're looking forward to her getting back in the court, and the CU women, by the way, have got Stanford and Cal coming in this weekend. Good to have them back home at the event center. We'll talk more about that in a moment. By the way, as we're kind of in the midpoint of the season for women's basketball, the lacrosse team is getting things underway, and we caught up with them as spring practice gets underway.
With the 2019 season coming up, we're just really excited to be back out here. Today's one of our first real practices back with our sticks in our hands. We lost a few big seniors. Darby's gone, a lot of our big defensive players. We have a lot of other people coming up. Our freshman class has been doing an amazing job, so we're excited to have them. We have a lot of people that have stepped up and already started to fill those positions. So I think although we lost a lot, I'm really excited about all the different people that are stepping up to fill those positions. I think with playing Florida there twice, and now that we're hosting them here on our home turf, I think that'll be awesome for us. We're excited to get back and play them again after losing to them last time. A lot of big games coming up for us here at home, which is awesome because we have so many fans that come out to support us. And I think we're all just excited to be home and take on these teams that normally we're away. And since my freshman year, we used to always play all our big games away, but now that we've kind of established ourselves, it's pretty cool to have some big teams come here to play us.
Good.
I think with how our team's been doing the past few seasons, I think definitely other teams are excited when they play us and they come out and they definitely give us a run for our money. But I think now that we've established ourselves and we kind of know what Colorado lacrosse is about, we're definitely ready for all those teams that are going to come here and try and win.
The lacrosse team, of course, coming off a great season a year ago. Look forward to that campaign coming up as we continue with JR Payne talking women's basketball. A little bit of a challenge this week. You got the Bay Area teams coming in. Of course, Stanford is, well, they're Stanford, right?
They're Stanford, yes. And Tara is Tara, and they're as good as any team in America right now. They're led by a senior, Alana Smith, who's averaging, I think, 25 and 12, shooting over 50% from three. I mean, they're just a darn good ball club.
Yeah. You know, you can hold yourself against anybody, obviously, but when you're coaching against Tara Vanderveer, and she's a legend. I mean, does that ever cross your mind, or is it, hey, the ball goes up and we start playing?
Well, it does in our preparation, you know, and I said the same thing about Charlie Turner-Thorne down at Arizona State. When I am scouting an opponent like Stanford or Arizona State, watching their discipline and their attention to detail and the toughness of their kids, you know, inspires me to be better.
Sure.
You know, and the success that someone like Tara has had over the years, you know, is inspiring for a young coach, and it's all in the details, and so that would probably be the main thing.
I was going to say, you probably learned a little something by watching coaches
yes,
like
absolutely.
that. I don't care if it's Tara, Bobby Knight, or whomever it is out there, right?
Absolutely.
Yeah, I would think you would. So that's obviously a challenge on Thursday. How about Cal coming in over the weekend?
Well, Cal's, you know, almost as good as Stanford. They're both really good basketball teams, both really led by senior centers. You know, Christina Nigwe for Cal is probably 25-12 as well, but just really good. Different team. They're extremely athletic, and they'll try to pressure and take you out of your stuff a little bit more than Stanford, whereas Stanford's just really disciplined. They just do what they do, and they do it better than anybody.
No, when you go through kind of a tough stretch like this as a coach, then you got to massage your team a little bit, don't you?
Yeah, a little bit, you know, and really we do highlights and lowlights after every single game, so there's always positives, there's always negatives, you know, that we can learn from, but we really are just trying to focus on the details of what we're doing, really like small picture, you know, like the angle of this screen, this box out, you know, areas that we actually can fix, you know, in a very small manner of time.
You bet. Well, it's good to be back home. Good luck this weekend.
Thank you.
All right, JR Payne, the CU women, they've got on Friday night the Stanford Cardinal, and then on Sunday the Cal Golden Bears.